All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to month 10 of Ignite the Iron. I am so excited that you guys are on here tonight. We are going to talk about some really important nuggets in leadership. We've spent a lot of time this year, each of us going over some different things. And I feel like in this season, especially, it's really important for us to remember one important thing. So I'll get into that in just 1 second. So I just want to stop and pray for us real quick. So, dear Lord, I'm bringing you all of us that are on this call. I'm claiming that you have every single person on here for a reason. I ask that you please guide my thoughts and guide my words to what you need for everyone to hear tonight and let them get exactly what they needed from this call. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, so I have been thinking the last couple of weeks and really over the last month about what being a leader means. And I think it's really important, especially in my season as a Scentsy consultant. I've been with Scentsy for 8.5 years. Since April of 2016. So the way that I've worked my business has evolved and changed. The way I've led has evolved and changed over the years. But especially now, after being home for so long with Zane, if you do not know, I did start back part-time. We were talking about it at the beginning of this call. At a med spa I was going to for years, since 2018. I started there part-time to help them out with some behind the scenes things with their management stuff. And I've absolutely enjoyed it, but it's given me a different outlook on what being a leader means. And this is exactly the same type of mindset I had when I was a full-time teacher. So for those of you who do not know, I was a full-time special education teacher up until August 2021. So my entire business up until Superstar Director, I built my business working full-time. And when I say special education teacher, I mean like the most severe behavior problem children, very stressful, migraines, the whole 9 yards. It was not an easy job. But I worked my Scentsy business and I built my business up to the top of the company while doing that full time. So it's not something that, was foreign to me, but it is something that became foreign to me because when I stopped teaching and I stopped being in another full-time job and just doing Scentsy full-time, it kind of took, I had blinders on and I'm like, okay, well, how in the world, like why can't my people do Scentsy, this way that I'm doing it? Or why can't, it doesn't take that much time, but I was in such a place where I could work Scentsy whenever I wanted to. So now I'm more in a simplistic leadership style that I used to do all the time, but I just had to relearn and revamp how to do that. So we're going to really talk about how being a leader does not mean that your life is only Scentsy. Okay. So we're going to do a little activity first. And I want you guys on a piece of paper, I want you to write down who you are outside of Scentsy. So write some nouns down. So I'm going to give you some examples. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am a friend. I am a child of God, just to give you guys a few examples. But I really want you guys to focus in on that. Who are you outside of Scentsy? Scentsy is a blessing, Scentsy is a business, and Scentsy is an income for you, right? The leadership aspect of Scentsy is where the most dramatic and impactful income comes from. Okay. I'm not taking away the fact that, Scentsy is your job and Scentsy is a business. I'm just saying you are you outside of Scentsy, and we don't need to get lost in that. And actually you can benefit within your Scentsy business by remembering who you are as a whole and letting that kind of catapult you within your Scentsy business. So you're a mom. Okay, you have access to people who are in a school system, right? You're a daughter. Do your parents have people you can, share Scentsy with? Use it to your advantage. Your friend group, if you're, we all have friends. So I want to know something and be very honest with us. We have 21 people who are on live. I want to know how many of you have found yourself flat out burned out from doing too many leadership things within this business. And I'm going to say I have. I have absolutely been there. If it was not for Chastity keeping my head on straight half the time and telling me to, stop the bad thoughts. That's why we always talk about accountability partners. It's very, very important. Um, but we can find ourselves super, super burned out if we are doing too many things of the wrong, too many of the wrong things. Okay. I am guilty of getting on social media and being like, oh my gosh, well, they're doing this and they're doing this and they're doing that. And oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. Okay. I'm right there with you. But we're going to talk about leadership doesn't need to be fluff. Just like in your personal business, the fluff doesn't matter. So we're going to talk really about what does matter within leadership and what you guys can do if you need a new slate like me moving forward, how to keep it super, super simple for yourself. So, I already talked about that. Okay. So leadership really is consistency in the right actions and loving other people. Okay. You are a leader the day that you get somebody on your team, right? Lead consultant and above, you have to have one person on your team and you have to hit the certain criteria that is on the compensation plan. But that's all it takes. Two things: consistency and the right actions, not the fluff, and love for others. So, in simple terms, what is leadership? I pulled an Anja Faust and I Googled what is leadership. And leadership is the act of guiding a team or individual to achieve a certain goal through direction and motivation. Okay. There's two things: there's direction and there's motivation. Okay. So let's break down what direction and motivation look like in leadership, specifically in your Scentsy business. So direction. What are you doing to direct your teamies, to direct your frontline to find success and to be an incredible leader? You are teaching them how to fish. Okay. That's really is as simple as it can be. You are teaching them within their first 15 days. You're teaching them within their first 70 days, which is that sensational start period. And think about this, and especially being back in the outside of my house, you have to think about like the probationary, or is it probationary period, when you're in a job. They don't expect you to know everything right up front. When I was a teacher, you were a beginning teacher for 3 years. You had a mentor. You had 3 years to kind of figure it out by yourself. But if not, it was okay, because they were like, hey, you just got out of college. You're not expected to know everything. With a like a 9 to 5 job, corporate job, they give you like 30 days, right? They give you like grace periods and all that. But you're teaching them how to fish, okay, in that first 70 days. So you're teaching them how to navigate workstation. We have the first things first checklist, right? That's there for them. We now have the success paths, which is there for them. You're teaching them that your team page or your director's team page is full of wealth and knowledge. Teach them how to use the search option. Teach them how to find things so they know how to. It sounds super, super simple to us, but they've never been a part of a team page before. They've never been a part of workstation before. So teach them how to access all of those resources. Okay. Um, Teach them how, if they want to promote to the next title. I'm going to share a Google Drive with you guys at the end of this. But if you aren't already using promotion trackers, they're very simple and they're very easy. If you have somebody who is telling you, hey, I want to hit certified, boom, here you go. Here is a graphic that's made for you. It was made literally, I think I've seen them since like 2016. It's simple, it's easy, they can check it off. Walk them through it and teach them how. Okay. You're providing direction. This is the most important thing about direction. It is your job to provide the direction, but your job is to not blindfold them and take the wheel. Okay. They have to have their hands on that wheel, eyes wide open, and they have to actively want it themselves and drive. The hardest part of leadership is when you want something so very bad for one of your teamies or one of your new people, and you know they can do it, but they ultimately have to do it themselves. They have to take the resources that you've given them where you're like, okay, listen, you gotta, you want to promote to lead. Okay, you have to have sponsoring conversations. This is how you can have sponsoring conversations. How many conversations have you had? None. Okay, we're not going to hit lead consultant if you don't have the conversations. We cannot have conversations for people. Okay, you've provided the direction. It's their turn to drive it out. Okay. Number two, motivation. Motivation. Okay. Be a cheerleader. Cheer them on. It is a very thankless job. I think that was the best thing I heard from a reply to an email when I sent out emails last week. You have the most thankless job, but thank you so much for doing it. You're not going to hear thank you. And that's not what we're in it for. As a leader, you have to take your emotions out of it. And it is so, so hard. But you still do the things that you need, you need to do as a leader. You got to cheer them on. If you don't believe in them, they're not going to believe in themselves. Okay. I'm going to tell you that again. They're not going to believe in themselves. They're over here literally doubting themselves. Can I do this? But I got ignored. Can I do this? Oh my gosh, but she told me that I just got active. Oh my gosh, I'm this close to a promotion. Cheer them on. Let them know how important it is. And those small steps are very, very important. Tell them, brag on them, make it exciting. Okay. There's been a long time saying in this company, believe in them before they believe in themselves. Okay. That's a part of leadership. Believe in your people, believe in your teamies, believe in your frontline before they believe in themselves. You let them know that, hey, this is a really big deal. I texted a girl that's in my downline last week. This is true. And she like is a brand new baby consultant. And I was pulling numbers and I saw her and she has like she had like 2,500 PRV, and this was in the first week of the month. And I was like, girl, this is a huge deal. Do you know that it's a big deal? She was like, well, I don't really know, but yeah, my director said that. And then you texted me, and I think I know it's a big deal. Guys, let them know that. And I said, girl, some people don't even do that in a month. That is a huge deal. So cheer them on, believe in them, give them that motivation to push themselves. Okay. All right. Next, how to lead with healthy boundaries and love. Because I said, remember at the beginning of this, you are more than Scentsy. I love Scentsy. It has allowed so many different things in my life to happen. It's given me opportunities I would never have. And it's blessed me over and over. But you got to have boundaries. Okay. It's a job at the end of the day. You get a 1099. I get a 1099. Okay. It is a job, is an income. You have to have boundaries. So many people have always said this in this business. You are not and will never be 7-Eleven. You are not open 24/7. And even if you were working at 7-Eleven, you're not working all those 24 hours, right? You get to come home and you get to do your own stuff. Scentsy the same thing. You need to protect your boundaries, because if not, that burnout is going to be harsh and it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. And they're going to be like, I'm not doing it Scentsy anymore. And then you're going to talk to your friend and they're like, you're still doing Scentsy. And then you're like, no, I'm not. Okay. It's going to be a whole situation. Protect your boundaries. You are a mom, you are a friend, you are a wife. If somebody texts you or somebody emails you or somebody tags you on the team page, you don't have to respond right away. The best thing I've taught myself in the last couple of months with working outside of my Scentsy life in my home is that it's not an emergency. Okay. Set business hours if you need to. Nothing's going to set on fire within Scentsy, I promise. Okay. But you have a business to run, you have a family to run. Just remember that you are important. Set those boundaries. And remember this, if I cannot express this enough, and I know Chastity, Whitney, and Anja are the exact same way, what you do with a team of one needs to be sustainable and duplicatable when you have a team of 200, because you're going to get there. You're going to get there. If you believe in yourself and you have a plan and goals and you know that you're going to get there, What you do with a team of one when you're texting them all day long and you're, everything in and out is not going to be achievable when you have a team of 200. When your group size quadruples, okay? Make sure whatever you're doing is not going to burn you out. You are a human. You have a life too, okay? And I mean that from the depths of my soul, because I'm like my worst own critic over here. And I'm like, holy cow, like I'm absent. And my team is like, what are you talking about? We see you. You're showing up. You're an amazing leader. But when you're so worried about doing too much, that's where it gets, like I told you, I had to pull back on a lot of fluff. So what do you need to be consistent in as a leader? You need to be consistent in recognition. You need to be celebrating those small accomplishments to those big accomplishments. Small accomplishments meaning you have some PRV on the board. Small accomplishments being like, okay, well, they have 30 PRV. That's only 170 PRV away from active. Okay. Letting them know they're close, they can get there. Okay. It might not seem achievable, but be their biggest cheerleader. Okay. Number 2, helping them reach their goals. If they have goals that they have verbalized to you or within the team page, help them reach those goals. Number 3, showing up in your team page. I know a lot of us on here have joined group pages. Some people still have, your director has a team page. I know a lot of mine do. One of my directors is on here, has a group chat. Do whatever, but show up in that realm. Show up. I'm going to call out my group page. It's not, Feet to Faith was not intended for it to be just Amber posting. Okay. Show up in that page. You have stuff to offer, and your teamies. Remember, as long as you have one teammate, they're watching you. Number 4, show up in your personal business and for your customers. Are you sharing what you're doing? Most of the time these days, when I'm doing stuff in my business, I'm not posting it on social media. I was very absent from social media today. I was working my other job. Okay. Does not mean I'm not working Scentsy. Only you guys know right now that I'm doing this, right? Okay. I'm not doing my business for the fame and the glory of social media. Okay. But show up. Number 5, asking your team what they need help in. You need to be consistent in that. What do they need training on? Are you showing up for them in that aspect? Are you helping them? Number 6, are you offering trainings? Be consistent in offering different trainings. Scentsy themselves offers trainings every single Tuesday. You're in my group page, and I'm sure the other girls share it as well. Do you see that? Do you see that there's a training every single Tuesday? There's one for you right there. There's YouTube trainings galore. Find something that they need help in. Number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Providing weekly tips for them. And number 8, pointing them to resources. You need to be consistent in those actions within leadership. You don't have to know it all, but when you're pointing them to different trainings, you're providing different trainings, like us 4 on here. We've come together this entire year, and we're providing you different avenues of resources for you guys, different point of views, because no leader is going to work their business the exact same way. Provide those resources. Okay. And then encourage your team and your group to attend trainings. If you have leaders underneath you, you should have encouraged them to be on this training tonight. Encourage your team and your group to check the news tab. A lot of times whenever I'm sharing stuff that's in the news tab or somebody else, I don't provide all the information, because guess what? Every single consultant has access to that news tab. And I want them, meaning my frontline and my teammates, I want them to go on their workstation, and I want them to find out for themselves. Okay. That's teaching them to fish. They're able to find the information by themselves. They're able to go on the marketing tab and get all those pictures by themselves. And you're encouraging them to make goals within their personal business. So how are you going to be this type of leader? How are you going to be this type of leader that is not encouraging fluff and you're encouraging the actions that matter within leadership. This does not take hours upon hours to be an incredible and effective leader. Chastity and I had this conversation a couple weeks ago when I lost my mind, which is very frequent these days. And she reminded me that, yeah, when I was working full-time Scentsy, I was doing way too much fluff. I had way too much time on my hands to do things that did not matter. Like I could literally just sit here and be like, TikTok. Okay. Oh, never mind. Oh, I'm going to make that real. Oh, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And I was not intentionally working on the things that matter within leadership or within my personal business. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to be an incredible leader. Okay. So I created a graphic that I'm going to share with you guys. And let me see if I can pull it up. Share. Okay. Can you guys see that? So I went ahead and I broke apart weekly leadership tasks and monthly leadership tasks. This is not anything fancy or new. It's just in a graphic so you guys can see it. I'm going to also share the Canva template link with you guys so you can make this your own. But this is for me to personally see what I need to do weekly. And then I'm going to show you a monthly one as well. So weekly leadership, post daily in my team and group page, Monday through Friday. Okay. That's non-negotiable for me as a leader. And guess what? There's a magical button that's scheduled post. If I'm not posting right that morning, it's scheduled out for the week. Okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to pick 2 consistent actions to do 2 times a week within your leadership. And you can text these or you can do them in your team page. I'm going to say if you have a smaller frontline team, I'm going to say text them. It's really, really good to have a great relationship with people. Or for like me, I have, and I'm going to be starting this back up, the weekly text challenges. But Monday, you can post in your team page. Even if this is your director's team page, you can ask for goals for the week and provide a weekly challenge. Okay. And then on Friday, notice how this is 2 times a week. Friday, you're asking how they're inching toward their goals. What did they do this week to help move toward their end all monthly goal? And you're checking in on their challenge. So for example, if you ask them their goals for the week and they said they wanted to get 200 PRV for this week. Okay. So today's Tuesday. They told me that on Monday. And then I also gave them a weekly challenge to sell 200 PRV worth of whiff boxes. Okay. That was their challenge and that's going to help them reach their goal. Friday, I would ask, I'm not going to look on Workstation. I'm going to ask them, I'm going to hold them accountable. I'm going to ask them, how's your 200 PRV going? Right. Because they have until Sunday. And I'm going to ask them how many whiff boxes they've sold. Okay. Monthly leadership, this is kind of a algorithm that I've followed for a long time within leadership, but it's not hard. It's very simple. You just don't overcomplicate it. So picking 3 consistent actions to do 3 times a month. Okay. So the first of the month, which is the beginning of the month, halfway point. So today's the 15th. And then the end of the month. So first of the month, you're asking for the goals for the month. Okay. What are your PRV goals? What are your sponsoring goals? Do you have a promotion goal in mind? What's the incentive look like for you? Is there, a goal that you want to hit for that? How are you doing on Cheers to 20 Years incentive? Whatever it might be. You can do this in whatever looks best to you, your team page, email, or text. 15th of the month, doing shout outs. Okay. People who are active, people who have 500 PRV plus. That's just some ideas for you guys. That's team page, email, text. And then end of the month, shouting people out. So you're being their biggest cheerleader. Who's active, 500 PRV plus, who's close to active, who's close to promoting, and who's, close to promoting is promotion watch. So again, I'll share that with you guys. And then I have the template link. Of course, that's just what I had typed up for myself. So you can go in and change it to whatever you want it to be. But that, I feel like, I hope I'm not alone in thinking that leadership, along with a lot of things within Scentsy, has been really overcomplicated, and leadership really just isn't, it's hard. I'm not going to take it away from that. It's very hard. It's very hard to take away your emotions. It's very hard to not do it for people. I think that's my hardest thing. I'm a fixer and I'm a doer, and I'd rather do it for somebody because I don't want to wait on them. Okay. I was like that. I've been that way my whole life. I don't do group projects very well. I never did because I want it done the right way. Okay. But leadership is a lot about just being there, being the person that that person needs, helping provide direction, and helping them get to where they want to be. And also remembering you don't have to, you know, want it so bad for somebody, but they don't want it for themselves. You're going to make yourself so tremendously hurt and think that you're the problem when in reality you're not. Not everybody's going to want this business. They're not going to. I had somebody sign up and literally contacted consultant support, I think 4 hours later, and said she was going to return her kit. So I didn't do anything wrong. I added her defeat to faith and I sent her a text and an email. Okay. It is what it is. I know that now, 8.5 years in. So if I can handle it, just just deep breaths. Okay. But that is all I have for you guys tonight. Do you guys have any burning questions? I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording.